Hi everyone, welcome back to the TGC stream. I'm Tim and we've got Jenova,
hello,
our creative director, joining us today, and we're doing another one of our straight up Q&As. So we're going to be talking to you today about any of your questions that you have about the world of Sky and your experience so far. We wrapped up our first seasonal event last week, so we're interested to hear all your thoughts on that and your feedback, and talk about potential refinements and new features we could add to the upcoming seasons. And we also have the Android's the other big thing that's happening in our life at the moment, right?
Is it out right now?
I think we've got a beta going out very soon.
So it's still not out?
I actually don't know. I think it was going out last night, was it? No, it hasn't gone out, but it will be going out very, very shortly. But it's going to be out for everybody really soon as well. The team I know have been laboring over that for the past few months. So those are the main things going on in our world. So it's just going to be a dynamic Q&A. We've got a couple of questions to start with here, which I'll pose to Jenova, and we can talk about these, and then we'll get into your live questions as well. So please put questions in the Twitch chat stream, and we'll answer all the ones we can. If your question is answered on the live stream, then you can reach out to us, and we will send you a free pack of candles to spend in the game. So the first one that I'm going to ask from Feltrady, and I apologize as always if I'm pronouncing these names wrong, I really like the little stone circles where you can leave messages for other players. Since a lot of my Sky friends are from another time zone, I was wondering if there are any more things like that in development, like leaving a little challenge, a riddle for other players or a specific friend, or maybe spots to hide little gifts or messages for others scattered around the world. I really like the idea of interacting with other players, even though they're not there simultaneously. Any more things like that to come? Well, it's certainly something we've been thinking about a lot, and I need to preface this as well with the fact that this isn't coming up in the immediate next build, but one thing that we are thinking about very seriously and we want to do is adding more asynchronous, meaningful communication to your friends menu in the stars. And the idea we've had for a while has been talking about pen pals. Right? Because as you point out, like if you've got friends in a different time zone or just friends that can't play at exactly the same time that you can, it'd be nice to be able to have an interaction with them more than just sending them a heart or a bit of light. So what we're looking at is being able to attach a message to the hearts that you send your friends, so you can have a bit of like a pen pal relationship going back and forth, maybe even being able to send them an emote or some sort of other expression or personal little touch on the note. Are there other things that we've been working on like that or have been thinking about?
Yeah, I mean, before our candle was, message candle was everywhere. You can leave it any locations and it stays forever. But, like as we were testing beta and soft launch, it become troublesome when people start to litter candle anywhere. So the stone circle is like, somewhat of a suggested control to keep the candle in a certain focus location, but keep the functionality the same. And we always felt there was a strong desire for player want to like reply to someone's messages with their own message. So right now what we're thinking about as the first step, as Tim was saying, is we first start with a pen pal, and that will be done through the heart envelope, because it do look like a letter, and if we can attach some messages, and it will go back and forth. And if that works out well, and then we might want to expand to other message candles that's out there in the world. But yeah, the immediate step probably just pen pal. And our concern is, could people feel there's too much, how to say, like, we're still trying to work out like how much text can you write each time, because if it's too long, then you kind of feel pressurized if someone write an essay. If it's too short, then you player might complain that they couldn't even, you know, form an idea within one paragraph. So we're just trying to figure that out. And also different language. The Asian, Japanese, Chinese text tend to be more compressed. You can pretty much write an essay even within a Twitter message, where tweets in English, you can only say pretty much 2 sentences, really. So that's something like we would like to hear, like how long do you want to leave a message, and how long is too long, how short is too short.
Yeah, cool. We have another question from Popo that asks, have you considered ways to increase players' height? And I think we have something coming up in the new season for that, right?
Right. So some of you might already be in beta. This spell currently is not in there. Hopefully it will be in there in a couple of days. We created the height of the player with the idea that we were born with different height, and we can't really change that. It's something that we were born with, and it's interesting. It's a part of the identity that I actually found interesting to be attached. Initially, when we launched in the global live, a lot of the players will be begging us, say, hey, I really don't like to be the tallest person. I want to be short, because short is cute. But until then later, when we have the bug where the mini mask would reset your height, and then a bunch of people will come to contact us to say, please, can we stay high, stay tall, because when you are the tallest person, everybody wants to talk to you. And they actually want to be tall again. So I think that's a very good lesson about tall people wanting to be short and short people wanting to be tall. Grass is always greener on the other side. But I think if we just give the control to the player and let them just pick their height, the world will be filled with very tall people and very short people. But that's not how real life is like. So to find somewhere in the middle, we're starting to roll out this new spell called I think it's called Reset Your Height or Reborn Your Height. It's basically, if you're not happy with your current life body height, you can try to re-roll it, but we won't let you to pick exactly, because otherwise there would be no in between. So this spell would come out with the blessing package, and you should be able to get those from the new season pass characters, or if you're a new player, we're intended to add these height reset spells to a normal blessing as well. So yeah, if you are not happy, there should be a few times for you to try. And because it's random, you should also be cautious that don't be too greedy, because the next one may not be as high. So let's see how that goes.
Cool. So you guys can look forward to that really soon. Seven's asking, I hate having to grind for cosmetics, but I really enjoyed the challenge and teamwork that the seasonal spirits required. So I think they're talking about the Sunset and Dusk, or Wasteland, I should say, and Mountains from the last season, where it had to require a lot of like coordination between other people to actually finish the quest. And we saw that, I think, on the live stream last month when we're playing through with Scott, and it's like a really great sense of accomplishment when you do actually pull off those quests that require multiple people to collaborate. Particularly the ones in beta. Do you have any plans in store to reduce the grindiness of the game? So I think trying to have like repeatable gameplay that is interesting and like rewards a performance in the game is something which we aspire to add more of to the game. I think it's fair to say. We have the race at the moment, but it's not really working so much like a race. Like there's definitely more we could put in there. We have played around in the past with what we internally call performance-based quests. So some quests where the better you do or the more pieces you collect as you're racing around with others, the more light that you collect. And they're really interesting. They're very tricky to balance so that everybody feels good about them. But there's something which we want to get back into the game to add a little bit more variety, because I totally agree. It is a bit boring if you just turn up and are just doing the same thing every day, and it's going to have the same predictable rewards. And I agree that like the game shines when you have to collaborate together and overcome some big obstacle. So I think the answer is we're looking into it and hope to introduce some new stuff.
Yeah. I don't really understand the question, really.
I think they're just kind of a bit frustrated with the fact that like the main gameplay is you kind of turn up every day and just like light candles, and I suppose the daily quests as well. After a while, once you know how to complete them, they become like a little bit can be a little monotonous, and even just like the trading of light between friends. There's like I suppose just like a schedule you get into, and like the variety of rewards and risk and challenge could be a bit more day to day.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're working on.
Yeah, we're working on it. Okay, let's have a look. Blueprint is asking, are you considering a different UI for the constellation map? The map is congested, hard to manage, and other players get in the way when trying to view it from home. So I'm going to assume that this is talking about like the Friends constellation, and it's because when you have like hundreds of friends, there's just like kind of a screens full of stars that are arranged around, and there's been a lot of talk as well about being able to arrange that more manually. So at the moment you can just group together your favorite friends, but we're thinking about maybe having different constellations to be able to group together your different like families of friends. So maybe you make a constellation for your literal family, or
can we ask this person again? I don't understand the question. Is it the question that you feel there's all the other player running around bothering your access to the stars, or is it just actually in the menu itself that there's too many friends that it's difficult to navigate? Because I don't understand which part.
I think they've said both. So the actual stars themselves are too congested, and also the other people can get in front of your view when you're standing on the.
Because one thing is the game's supposed to turn all the other player off when you're looking at the stars. Maybe is that a bug that you actually can't see other players when you look at the stars?
I don't know. We could ask for some more clarification on that one. Okay.
Yeah, if it's just the stars is too dense and hard to manage, yeah, we were talking about modifications, but priority-wise, this is not the highest priority.
This is a good one. Skyme is asking, will there be quests that require instruments to play?
We talked about doing this, but again, I think the biggest problem about this game is that we still need to allow a single player to be able to play the game and feel not forced to do anything that require them to, you know, spend money or have to make a friend, because we want people to feel like if they just want to try the game, there's no real pressure. If the moment instrument is required, then to beat the game, then people will say, "Oh, you guys are forcing me to socialize with people. Otherwise, I can't get my hearts." You know, like that's the situation I want to avoid. Now, if a special instrument is required to earn some side quests, some additional upgrade that is not main to the story, maybe. Yeah, but I would say instrument quest right now is not a priority.
Okay. Okay, another question here. Whoops, I lost the one that I was going to ask. Oh, okay, this is a good one. From Maelstrom 101, question for Jenova. First got into your stuff when I played Cloud. How much of the flow, quote unquote, in games you wrote about affected the design of Sky? So he's talking about the flow theory and the first experiment that you wrote on
When
flow.
I made Cloud, I haven't even discovered flow yet.
No, I think he's saying that he's been playing since Cloud, but he was wondering about how that theory of flow affected the design of Sky.
Not really too directly. The theory of flow was designed to control the challenge and activities of the player. And in the game flow, it was very deliberately designed. So there's only two choices: go more difficult, which is dive deep into the water, and go less difficult, which is return to the previous level. It is more specifically designed for flow. Even for Flower and Journey and Sky, it's a lot more loose. The general consensus is to create a situation where the player can choose the difficulty of the activity they can engage. So on the the overall abstract layer, the flow theory exists because the player can choose the different areas to engage, and based on their skills, some other people would never want to go to a wasteland, right? And yeah, I would say it's somewhat there, but it was not intentional. Because if it was intentional, it would be a lot more focused. But Sky and Journey are a much bigger game. There's a storytelling components involved, so I wouldn't say it's fully applying the flow theory, but some components probably.
I forgot to mention we have our special guest Oreo on the show again as well. I'm sure you've noticed. He's having a little snooze. It's like a little hot dog Oreo at the moment. If you have any questions regarding Oreo, please feel free to throw them through to the stream as well. Okay, new question from Flamepool. Is there a possibility that you could have the seasonal pendants as a permanent accessory? I was sad to see that my pendant was gone after the event. It looked really nice with my blue cape and was like a statement of, hey, I brought the past and supported the game and its developers. It's something we've certainly talked about, certainly aware of. The reason that we don't have it at the moment is because it's, well, initially the design was supposed to be that the pendant is a signifier of who currently has the adventure pass, like for the active season. So we thought it could be confusing if people were wearing pendants from prior seasons and they didn't have the pass for the current season, and that could mix things up a little bit. It could also be confusing for themselves if the pendant error persists. One of the key reasons for that is that we were intending to give the people that have the adventure pass, and still aspire to give the people that have the adventure pass, more relevant abilities to help out everyone around them. So if someone saw that somebody had the adventure pass and be like, oh, someone's got it, we can follow that person to a secret area, or they've got an ability that's going to help us get through the pass quicker. We didn't really get around to adding that functionality, so I think I'm personally a little bit more lax about having people be able to switch around the pendants? What do you
Yeah,
think?
because I've been asking for it the whole time, actually. I was like, it's so easy to turn it on. You have already earned all these pendants over the years. You can pick different on. Yeah, at the time, the reason I heard was because you need to know who has the pass and who doesn't. So then you can tell whether someone would be on the quest that the other person don't.
Yeah.
Right now, we heard some feedback about why don't we just give people who don't have the pass also the 2 other quests. And if we do that, then there's no need to tell if someone owns a pass or not, that everybody would have access to them. That's something we are still considering, because it's, certainly will change the balance of the economy, but ultimately, if you can choose to pick the pendant to wear it or not to wear it, I'm kind of interested to take a poll on people whether they're into the flexibility. The only downside about this is now we have to have another hole for you to change outfits.
We could add it as like an extra menu in like the prop, just call like the accessory slot or something, maybe.
Under the pianos and things.
Since it's like the least populated one.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we'll do that. And as Jenova said, we're looking at making all the quests available to other players. We initially did have 2 of them just for the Image Pass holders only, so that we could just give that added value to the people that have supported the game. But the more we've thought about it, the more I think there's benefit in all players sharing all of those activities day to day. And also, if the players do actually have the ability to earn more of those candles, then they're going to progress through more of the pass. And so then if they do choose to buy the pass later in the season, then there'll be more items that they'll end up unlocking. So it's probably going to be, I think it's something which we'll go ahead with, and it'll be a big win for everybody. Okay. Alex Dolly asking, is Oreo a good boy?
Oreo would be grumpy and snappy if he is attached to someone, and the third person approach. I think he, over the years, become a loyal guardian of my wife, and so we notice any women who holding Oreo and the third person approaching, he's gonna be protecting her. For men, it's less so. Yeah, I think, Oreo is a guy, so.
He's a guard dog. He doesn't look like much of a guard dog, but he's a.
Let's see. All right, get up.
He's okay.
Yeah.
He's pretty chill today. Okay, so a question for you, Jenova. I love how Journey and Sky present their story. It's at the same time very direct, in that you see things happening, but also very subdued, and that everything is kind of vague and leaves a lot to interpretation. Will there be more lore added to the game in the future?
Yeah, I think each adventure pass we create, we're trying to use the character and the environment to add a little bit more detail to the spirits that used to live in the world, and the characters from each different land do come from a different time, and we're trying to keep them consistent to the overall world settings. And there are more things we want to do. Unfortunately, when we launched the game, we didn't really have time to make more elaborate storytelling through these spirits. Hopefully, with each season, we'll add a little bit new narrative, so that over time, the lore become more rich.
Yeah, we're hoping that as Jenova says, each of the seasons and each of the groups of new spirits that come along, you'll be able to pick up some of the lore and backstory of the world. And that's certainly the case with the quests that you'll see for this season. I think we've put the most effort into the quests for this season, as far as them telling a story from what was happening to them at the different times in the lands of Sky. So again, it is pretty subtle, as is the style of TGC, but so you'll have to look closely. But the poses of the spirits, the activities they're performing as you progress through the quest, you should pay close attention to that stuff, because if you're interested in trying to decode more of what the backstory is of the land and what these guys are all about, then that's where to look. Another question about instruments from Anonymous Squirrel. It's a great username. Would you all consider expanding the musical element of the game? For example, forming choirs or orchestras with your friends. And also giving us the option to have our characters sing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right now we have way too many instruments that we have made than what we could have put out. The difficult part is not building these instruments, models, and animations. The difficult part is to figure out whether they can play nice with a relatively simple control. And also the challenge of forming an orchestra is the latency problem. We've experimented with some multiplayer music sheet where we were trying to eliminate the latency issues. But so far we haven't really seen much feedback on how players think about the multiplayer music sheet. Was it too obscure to be discovered, or do people feel it's more interesting to actually play it live with the latency? Yeah, I mean, initially when we created the multiplayer instrument, we wanted to build it to the size of a band, because each music sheet was actually written with bass, piano, or guitar, and drum and in mind. But so far we haven't heard anybody's opinion on that, so we're like, maybe that one's not that popular. If you want to have even a bigger orchestra, I think first we need to get the band working to a point where people actually really like it. So if you have any feedback about our multiplayer band experience, we would love to hear that.
And we are talking as well about having more places for people to perform together as a band. I know people already have a lot of their favorite little spots in the world to perform, and we pay attention to that stuff, and thinking about ways to amplify that as well. Cool. I think that's all that we've got time for today. Are there any things that you want to leave with the community, Jenova, before we sign off?
Well, we are just very excited to be to work on this upcoming patch. There's if you're in the beta, you probably would see this room, and we just want to let you know that if you discover the place and expect there will be much more to come. We didn't really have time to add too much content to the Easter egg area, but hopefully this will be something that we will revisit and make it more rich over time.
Cool. Yeah, so if you're in the beta, hunt that down, have a play of it, give us some feedback. You can give us feedback on the new season in beta as well, and for those of you that are just playing live, then you can expect the new season to come in the coming weeks. We're very excited to share that with you. We've been hard at work on it over the last couple of months. So, and of course you can look forward to Android really soon. If you are a beta tester that's signed up for Android access, then a portion of you will be hearing from us soon. So we're excited to get your feedback on that as well. It's a big milestone for us to come out into that platform.
Yeah, it's quite strange when I tried the Android build and hold hand with an iOS build player. It felt like a massive gap has been crossed, even though we've tried to have two phones holding hands and a phone and a MacBook holding hands before, but it was weird to have an emotional response to hold the hand of an Android character.
Building bridges across platforms.
Yes, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so on that note, I think we'll sign off. Thanks, Jenova, for joining us.
Thanks.
And we'll see you next time. Bye.